With 3-2 defeat against Barcelona in the Spanish Super Cup, Real Madrid and Xabi Alonso had decided in mutual agreement to departure from the club, and this was just huge news. No one really expected it. There have been bad performances, but for the most part, Madrid were not in a terrible position, only 5 points behind Barcelona. They just lost the final of the Super Cup, still in the contention of Copa del Rey, still in contention for Champions League, and just for the sacking, for me, it's just bad timing more than didn't need to happen. But with now the new head coach for Real Madrid, Alvaro Arbeloa, who has been in Madrid for 20 years, who's been a staple, who's a reliable player for the Madrid team for the past how long he's been here in the main squad, and people don't really know who he is. It's pretty shocked. He's sort of like a Lucas Vasquez type, a Nacho type, who's not a starter. He's not going to start week in and week out, but he's a reliable player that's going to fill in the role and be there for the team, experience wise, because he loves the club so much. So what do I personally think of this? I just think that if the players aren't going to listen to Ancelotti, if the players aren't going to listen to Xavi, why are they going to listen to a Castilla coach who hasn't really done anything in his pro coaching level? Here, just to get straight off, he's done a lot for the academy. He's been coaching the academy since 2022. He won the domestic treble like 2 seasons ago for them in the Juvenile A and B. He's coached almost every level of the academy that that can go to, and he's coached many players, such as he's coached Aval Carreras, he's coached Nico Paz, he's coached Jacob Ramon, he's coached Thiago Piraj, he's coached there's so many. I know I'm missing Joan Martinez. All these young academy players that are in the Castilla now or somewhere else abroad, he's coached them. He's been there. He's won with them in the academy level, and that just proves he said it himself here. He said that Real Madrid have the best academy, which for me, they have a really underrated academy. I think people just look at Barcelona and they're like, oh, Xavi, Iniesta, Messi, blah blah blah. But Madrid do produce good players. It's just not heavily known because Madrid don't use their academy players. And I feel like if they do, especially these past couple of years, they would excel. But yeah, he said himself, we have the best academy in the world. They know they have a big chance with me as a coach. I like to see that because even the youngsters now that they have, we can check in the Castilla squad. Frank Gonzalez, he made his debut last season, I want to believe. And then you have Valde, who made his debut, and he looked pretty solid. You have Mario Rivas, who's performing really well. David Jimenez, who's also a really known player. Joan Martinez, who's been rumored to play for the main squad for like 2 years now. Fortea, Diego Aguado, his brother Lorenzo Aguado, Victor Muñez last season. Gonzalo Garcia, who's producing huge numbers in the Castilla, which is you want to now look at him in Real Madrid, and he scored almost 10 goals so far in his Madrid career. Palacios, Bruno Iglesias, Sestro, for me he's something. Sestro, he's 100% gonna get minutes under Arbeloa. Then you have Paul Fortuny and Delanos, who are main figures in the Castilla squad. New players coming in and out. Yeah, and then Arbeloa, they were 4th place at the moment. Since he's left, it's for Castilla. I mean, it's just young players playing. So I guess of course you want to win the league and stuff like that, and try to get to the 2nd division. But most of these players, they're kids playing in the 3rd division of Spain with have main teams that are actually using I guess quote unquote pro players. So there's that, and then you have the C team. You don't really talk about much here. I know one player that's performing really good is I think he's in the 3rd team actually. U19. Carlos Diaz. He's doing really good. But yeah, Madrid produce great talents over the years, and you can see here that he's definitely going to use the young talents. Here, a little bit of his career. He's been in Madrid since 2003. He's been in the academy even before that. He's been B team and then made his Madrid debut in 2004. I don't know why there's the that mark there. And then you have him in the Castilla. He joined Deportivo, was in Liverpool for a little bit, and then went back to Real Madrid for 7 years, and then joined West Ham. And only played like 4 games. I remember when Madrid won the Champions League, he was, you know, celebrating like crazy, and then he, left Real Madrid, had a whole standing ovation. It was great. Um, but yeah, I mean that's he's done a lot for Real Madrid, coaching wise, and or academy coaching wise, and as a player. So it's gonna be really interesting to see what he brings in. I'm not. We can check here. He did an interview today. He made this presentation today. Um, it's a dream come true. I know the responsibility I have. Facing it's with a lot of excitement. We have a great squad of guys willing to do anything. Let's not forget that there are players with 6 UCLs. That seems to be forgotten quickly. Well, permanent or intern, because it's still debatable of is this gonna last till the end of the season, or is he gonna be the main coach from now on? Are they gonna look for another coach during when he's coaching? But he says, permanent intern manager, I'm here for 20 years and I'll stay as long as Real Madrid wants me to. This is my home. There's Real Madrid, that's the one I already put, and I think that's pretty much all with that. Yeah, it's weird. It's good. I want him to succeed. I want him to use academy players. So let's see what happens is there. I just don't know. I don't know if he's gonna have the room. I feel a lot of good about this, but for me, it's just if you're gonna use a Castilla coach who hasn't shown anything, or Xabi Alonso, might as well stick with Xabi Alonso to the end of the season and then find a new coach. But you're not in a bad position as Real Madrid. You're only 5 points behind Barca. And you're in contention to auto qualify for the last 16 in Champions League. I don't know. I just think it's just bad timing, and it just boosts Barca's, I guess, morale. Oh, we fired their coach. Oh, we beat them in the Spanish Super Cup. Oh, we're in first place in La Liga. I mean, and like for even with that loss, a win or loss, I feel like it just will boost morale for Madrid. You win, you're like, oh, we're capable of winning big trophies and going against big teams in finals. Or when they lose, they're like, all right, we're done with this. We're not going to keep on losing against Barcelona in the final. We're gonna get our shit together and then see and be a better team. But no, yeah, it's shocking. I like him as a player. He's always been like that player to support, but he's done a lot for the Castilla. He's done or the academy with Juvenile A and B and the Infanti, whatever it's called. Always keeping track with the academy squads because they do produce great young talent, man. They really do. So I really want to see that happen. But yeah, that's pretty much the new head coach of Real Madrid.